So we will have two group discussions. We will have break in between, 2 minutes break. So this group discussion being on a virtual platform, we will have some rules. We'll allot chest numbers and you will refer to the chest numbers if you want to relate some point. Secondly, being on a virtual platform, there will be some limitations. You cannot speak simultaneously. So we will go one by one, 30-40 seconds time you will get whenever is your turn. So we will go sequentially. We will gain something through these group discussions because see, group discussion means expressing yourself, your viewpoint. If there is some counter view, how you are countering it or you are taking it on board and moving ahead. Facts and figures. In actuals, you will be looking into the eyes of your group members, but here it is not so. But point wise rebuttal or consolidation, that is important. So first topic is there is a degradation of value system in our society. So major reason is whether it is parents, whether it is education system, or it is social media impact or effect. How do you see it? How do you feel it? You will put your viewpoint. In group discussion, you take a side which through which you are conveying that this is the most powerful or impactful point. This is how it is taken. It is not that when you have said something, suppose social media or today's exposure to internet. So other factors are there, but you are weighing more on that. This implies that you are saying that more weightage is this. The other things may have contribution. So in SSB, when there are options, you are putting your majority view, voting on that point. Some thumb rules in group discussion in actuals. When you sit in a circular fashion, you must look into the eyes of your group members. You must not get distracted away from your group. When you are speaking, you are participating. When you are listening, that time also you are participating. A lot of students don't understand this difference because the GTO is observing you. The GTO is noticing how you are receiving points, how much attentive you are, how much serious you are. The body language through which confidence, attentiveness, if you are nervous, body will tell you. So all those factors one should be very very sure. There should not be any repetition of points. If you repeat someone else's points, that speaks poorly that you did not listen or you are not attentive or you are short of points, that you are repeating points. So best way is be attentive, listen to the points, try and give relevant examples. Giving examples, statistics, figures is always an impactful way of dealing with group discussion. Okay, with this little prelude, we will start. I will allot chest numbers. Gauri Saab, chest number 1. Mukesh Saab, chest number 2. Mamta, chest number 3. Gayatri 4. Lakhen Saab 5. And Nikita 6. I will repeat. Gauri Saab 1. Mukesh Saab 2. Mamta 3. Gayatri 4. Lakhen Saab 5. And Nikita 6. I hope chest numbers are clear.
Sir,
Okay.
yes, sir.
Next point is
Clear, sir.
being on internet, someone's link or audio may get some problem. So be little practical. After some pause, next speaker can speak. So when I have given the sequence number on a virtual platform, we will go sequentially. We will have, I think, 3 rounds is okay. I think 12 to 15 minutes it will be over. So 3 rounds means what? In the first round, you try and give your introductory viewpoint. So by the time all six have spoken, you know where each member is standing. Second round, you have a chance of utilizing someone's point, countering viewpoint. So utilize in second round, show that you were attentive about listening others. And in the third round, go on a conclusion side. What is your opinion? Finally, after listening others, you had initially some stand. Still, what level of impression you got from others? What your impression is on others? And give different examples. This is how three stages we can move on. I hope it is clear now.
Yes, certainly, sir.
So each participation can be of maybe 30-40 seconds. Don't drag. One option for intervening or stopping someone is next chest number. When one is speaking, two can come in. When two is speaking, third can come in. Similarly, when the sixth is finishing, first can come in. And at the end of third round, we will stop. We will conclude and we will move on to second topic. So with this, I hand over to you. I'll be listening unless and until warranted. I will not intervene. I'll be on a silent spectator mode. Okay, and those who can switch on their camera, no issue. In fact, it is much more confidence building. Your facial expressions and body language also you can watch afterwards when the recorded mode is uploaded. Or if you are not comfortable, just audio is also okay. So I will hand over to your group now. Go ahead. Okay, Gauri sir. You all can start now. Gauri sir, you are still mute. I hope I am audible.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can be little louder. So if I think there is some connection issue with Gauri sir, so Mukesh sir, you can start.
So, good evening, gentlemen. Today's our discussion topic is degrading the value system. So, according to me, the main reason is the parent. Because, gentlemen, we belongs that country from where in the earlier time we used to live together. We respect everyone because our parents, our grandparents, they used to learn us about the value system, about the elders' value in our society. That's why, according to me, nowadays the parents, the wife and husband, they both are working and they are not proper focus on their children. It is the one reason we can say that degrading our value system in our society, in our country.
So, should I go in next?
Yes, Mamta.
All right. Good evening, friends. So, in my view, I think that social media is one of the major issues why our moral system is degrading today. As we can already see that technology has taken over toll. Like everything is advancing, and people have gadgets all the time. Be it a small child or be it aged person. So, social media is okay. So social media has taken over the toll so much that it is impacting everything around us, especially when we see that the movies which we watch today. Earlier, we used to watch, and the producers used to produce good movies which were full of value systems, like the family movies. Today, these days, we just see everything just glamorous, and there's no value and there's no system around. So, in my opinion, social media has impacted in a very bad way in our value system. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Firstly, give me this opportunity that group discussion and chest number one and two mention is that this I am not able to properly listen the one, but stage number two also mentioned that it is a social media. But as well as it's a good point, social media, but as well as like that the responsibility of the education system, because education system is a, if we need to some modernization in the education system, because the reasons behind that in the school scenario, no teach by the teachers and the government policy that teaching about that the increase the moral value, only focus towards that getting the high marks. And if some change need to some change in the it means the education systems, like that put the Ramayana Mahabharata for the two it means the 2 hours, so it will be definitely some drastic change in that the increase of moral value system. Thank you, sir.
In my opinion, as test number one mentioned about the family system, the I think the nuclear families or the parents are one of the reasons for the degrading value system. Earlier, we used to have joint families, and now we have nuclear families, and the percentage of joint families is just 16% now in today's age. So I think earlier we used to have our grandparents, elderlies. They used to guide us. They used to we used to get the exposure to various arts, culture, also traditions. They used to expose us to different they used to tell us different mythological stories. Also, we used to gain a lot of knowledge from them. In today's growing competition and the rat race, whatever is going on, I think that the guidance is missing uh, on our part. So I think that is one of the reasons, the lack of guidance from the elderly and the nuclear families, that is causing the degradation of the value system among the children today.
I agree with chess
Okay,
number.
according
Sorry,
to
sorry. Yes, sir. You continue. You continue.
the degrading of the social to the moral value. Okay, good evening, gentlemen. According to me, the degradation of the moral value is affecting by the today's social media, because we know that on being a second largest population and the first youth population in the world, that how the youths are moving towards the social media. They are spending much time. They are learning from social media. So nowadays, to degradation of the moral value, because they are not accepting their parents, they are not accepting their education system. They are much paying off towards the social media. So nowadays, social media become a very worst consensus to degrading of the moral value in the today's youth.
Okay, in my opinion, I believe that the education system is responsible for the degradation of the moral values. If we see the parents' scenario, then I think no parents want their children to lack in moral values. But definitely one thing could be considered, that now the both the parents are on the working stage, then definitely the thing is happening that they are giving the moral values, but it is not on repetitive mode. But why? Because the parents are working. Initial in few means few years back, things were not the same. Most of the time, either mother used to be with the child for the longest period, so that the mother used to repeat those values again and again and again. But that thing is not happening right now. So I think after few years, children either means uh, for the initial stages of the uh, child is either with the parents or in this school with teachers. So if parents, because of lack of time, if they are not able to repeat those moral values, then I think that responsibility comes to the education system. And in our education system, this moral value concept is not clearly mentioned. In some physical education or in any other book, we will find 2 3 lines about it, but actual practice classes are not there. What consists of moral education? There are three things in moral education. One is honesty, second is respecting others, and third is gratitude. So I think teachers can always give 1 hour daily to the students and practice all these things in the class. Like whoever the children is talking, he should talk with respect, no matter the he is talking to the peon or worker of the school, or whoever is helping him, he should be thankful to them. So these things I think could be inculcated in the education system, and so that child can be nurtured in that way. And I think social media doesn't play that much role, because on an average, if we see, child uses start using social media platform at the age of 15. So I think 15-year period is a very long period, and till that time those means these moral values are already inculcated in the student. So I think it is then personal choice. It becomes personal choice that to distinguish between what is right and what is wrong. So social media doesn't influence that much. I think education system is something which is affecting the moral value degradation.
So adding to the previous speaker, I have a slight contradictory view of mine. As the previous speaker mentioned that our education system is the one which is responsible. I would like to mention that there are several schools in our country, like the convent schools specifically. They have a particular subject that is moral sciences, and I myself studied that subject. So we have this till the 10th grade. So we cannot completely blame our education system when it comes to the degradation, because our education system is made in a way that we are given or we are imparted the right value system to the student. So in my opinion, I think social media is the one, as the previous speaker also mentioned, that people like children start using the social media above 15. So I think that thing is not actually applicable in today's scenario, as even a fifth grade student or a second student, I see them using tabs and phones all the time. So it doesn't matter. Social media is impacting at a very young age, and that is the reason why they have been watching TikTok and YouTube Shorts and all that thing has like got into their heads so intensely that they don't understand which thing is right and which is wrong, and they just pursue it whatever they see. So in my opinion, social media is still a very major factor.
Yes, gentlemen, and I slightly agree with you. According to the check number 2 and 6, they mention about the social media. So, gentlemen, who's the responsible to providing them social media? We see in our society, the parents in early age, they also provide the mobile to their children so they don't disturb them in their work, because we are making them habitual to social media in the early age. So who's the responsible? The responsible is the parent. Now I'm talking about the education system. Some of my friends mentioned about the education system. Now, in our society, we learned that the parents is the first teacher. Who's that teach them about the values, the parents. And in the education system they are providing them academic knowledge, not the value system. It is also come from the home. It is come from the our grandparents, our elders. They teach us about the value system, about our culture. It is the important part. The parents are more responsible to make their children more means toward the society, how to inculcate the good value to them. It is a very important. You can't blame the social media and the education system. We should focus on our means involvement to make them a good person in the society. Thank you, gentlemen.
Sir, I agree with you, sir. Chest number 6, and it is a good point for that. Parents is responsible because it is an individual responsibility of the family that look after over the children. But it is some need to that the education system, because in the earlier time, if I am talking about that in the decade 90 decade. Those days are very. It means like that in the school scenario. Totally, it means like that. Uh, the contributions in the health activities also. So, hello, sir, audible.
Yes, you are
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
audible.
please
audible.
carry on. Yes, you are audible. Please carry.
So can I continue with my point?
Yes, Gayatri, you can continue.
As the previous speakers mentioned about the education system, I think the education system has molded itself in this way because I think the demand is coming from the parents for the same. As in the growing competition and the rat race which is going on, the parents are focusing more upon the competition rather than the cooperation or the empathy or the bonding that they should teach to their children. And because of which they are getting isolated. And when nowadays we are seeing that because the children are isolated, they are more and more exposed to the technology, even because they are receiving they have to do their classes online and all the reasons, but they have more exposure to the technology because they are even isolated. And in today's age we are seeing that people have more of virtual friends than the real ones. So I think the reasons like the isolation, the lack of guidance, and the lack of sharing some quality time with parents is also affecting that and causing the values, the moral values of the children to degrade.
तुझा तो भैया
I would like to give one example in support of how educational, inculcating moral values, moral science studies, actual on ground in the education system helps to improve the overall value system in the child. In a pandemic in Japan, when in let's take the India's example. There was a queue outside the shops. People were fighting for whatever grocery they were wanting, uh, but at the same time in Japan, there was a single queue. People were standing in straight line, patiently waiting, and there was no chaos. So at that time, I read one article in which it was mentioned that the Japan's education system in this played very important role. From last few years, they have inculcated this moral value education system in their syllabus. What that syllabus does is, to from 6 years child, they start teaching how to fold clothes, washing clothes, folding clothes, and ironing clothes. They teach student in classes. The practical classes takes place in the school. Then respecting others, then respecting others time, and waiting patiently in queue. All these things are taught to the child from very early stages, and I think the result of all those things were seen in the pandemic in case of Japan. So I think in this way, this uh, this education system contributes to the society. So I believe that degradation is happening because of lack of provision of moral values in the education system.
Yes, I agree with you. The just number uh, sorry, it means that the education system is a very important play role for the integration of the value system. Because I understand that in the I felt in during the pandemic time, because I have two kids and both are when come in the room, and after that starting the homework, because all teachers, sorry, it means by the help of the, it means put on the WhatsApp and completed this task within like that 4 and 6 hours. It means need to next day. So such this type of totally involvations, and they make separate his parents and also the grandfather. We need to that some changement in the, you can say, in the education system, because in during that time totally focus that the study, because study is like that give the only knowledge, it is not the social networking. So that's why in the school some change the rules of the education system, because contributions with the parents, like that in the boy and girls for the both, working the kitchens, working the fields, and taking the which type of activity conducted at the home, sometimes of the planting. So if it is a totally physical involved in the family, so it will be very drastic change in that the growing of the it's a value system in our society. Thank you.
Okay, gentlemen, I respect the point given by you, but I like to highlight here. Gentlemen, during the independence, let me tell you from the very past, that during the independence, the literacy rate of India was 73%. At that time, the moral value was much high. But nowadays, what we have looking at, the moral value are degrading day by day because the technology is coming very much. And if you talk about the education system, gentlemen, we know that there are much school. There are very school in India, very much school in India. Even the foreign universities are also coming to India for their education purpose. So we can't directly blame to the any education system. Education system is very much high. There are much activity, much events are organizing day by day in order to give them the good education to come to make them more competitive in nowadays. But and if you talk about the parents, gentlemen, we know that parents are very much looking toward their children. They are always looking for their children, and they are very much inspired for their children's growth. But if you talk about the social media, gentlemen, we know that most of the youth are wasting of their time on the social media. They're making the reel and uploading it. They only want to see that how many views are there. Even though if we want to look something in or would like to find out the answer of that question, instead of looking going to and asking from the parents, we are directly searching on the Google. This show that how much we are moving towards the social media. So gentlemen, today's scenario, this social media become one of the most and prominent reason for the degrading of the moral value, as well as it is also conflicting to the system in our India.
Okay,
Adding
sir.
to the, yeah, please carry on.
Okay, sir. Just number one, I agree with you. It is a good point, sir. Ki, you're like that. It means the technology. It means because we are adopting the Western culture now day by day. Because we are like that purchasing the some like that with the help of the like that apps and brought to the some foodie items from the outside. So it is a like that generate the some different type of diseases in that children in the family, and totally it means like that the busy over that, you know, that in the realize that if we have one and two kids and totally busy in that like that games, no any physical activity in outdoors and the football and other games. And also the you realize and we are realize in the family, and totally sir, actually we need to that in the earlier time we would sleep at the till last night at 10 o'clock, at the end 11 o'clock. It's almost but this time is a student and boy and girls, it means our children are studying at that 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock, then totally wastage of time over the social medias and like that the till 1 o'clock at the midnight. So it is a very, it means a social media sorry, it means this technology is a very like that you know the go down and value system.
Yes, gentlemen, well mentioned by the Gauri Saab, that we know that the nowadays most of the people in India especially are utilizing social media. I hope that the children from starting from the 10 year, they have their account on the social media nowadays. Now this show that how the children, instead of the utilizing in so this social media in such a way to acquire the knowledge, but nowadays they are over wasting their time. They are making the video and uploading it. They are only, they also wanted to make money from this. So according to me, the social media is the worst thing which is degrading the moral value. And if you talk about the education system, gentlemen, we cannot be say that in the India the education system is very much good. So only one thing is that is social media degrading the value.
I would like to add one last point that, as the very famous saying goes, that children are like wet cement. So, children, they when they are growing in their growing years, they try to imitate the behavior of their parents. And in the house, if the grandparents, they are not getting respect from their children, and also if there is the secondary treatment to the female child, or if there is no companionship between the parents, or if there's violence happening in the house, children just inculcate those values or those that behavior into themselves and grow with the same. So I think it is the responsibility of parents, also the grandparents and all the elderly in the house, to maintain a good environment, so that the moral values among the children are high. They learn good things and grow into a good environment, to have to be become good humans with good moral values.
So,
Yes, I
adding to the
appreciate
previous
your point.
speaker,
And ladies and gentlemen, it is a very important. If we talk about social media, then how can we forget that during the pandemic, social media was the only one way through that the students can connect their teacher and connect also with their friends, and they continue their education. So it is up to us how we are taking to the use of the social media. And one thing is, if you talk about the schooling system, gentlemen, in the earlier in our country there was no good school, but the value was there. But that time the reason was only the parents. That time parents need to focus how to they grow their children in the society. So gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, according to me, it is the only best for parents. And for parents, keep watch on their children whenever they use the social media, and also they continue touch with their teacher, and also they focus more on their value system. It is a very important to us. Thank you.
As Gayatri has correctly rightly mentioned that children is like a wet cement. The whatever the environment is provided to them, they adapt to it very quickly. So again I would like to mention that the early stages of any early stage period of any children is either consist of with parents or in or means school period. So I think these two things, parents and education, these two things goes hand in hand. Means parents can give the good environment to the student, and teachers and school education system can continue that environment at schools. So I think these two things can go hand in hand. And I think talking about social media, this comes in the picture in very later stage. If I talk about it, then at the age of again 15, or let's take 10, that if student is using social media at the age of 10, then what he does on social media, either he'll watch some cartoons or uh, 10-year age is, it means hardly for a student of in fourth standard student hardly will watch his interest in either in cartoons or any movies. So I think watching and spending time on social media is, it doesn't affect any moral values. We today we you most of the time, if person is spending on the social media, does it mean that my moral values are not good? No, we cannot say that. Moral values consist of three things, that is gratitude, the respecting others, and honesty. So I think by using social media, how we can decide that okay, this person is not honest, okay, he is not respectful. So I think social media doesn't uh, uh, play that much role in this.
Actually, I agree with your point, but we realize in the our family, because in the earlier time, people, anybody like that is to in the family, boys and girls, and it meant a child, where they would get the knowledge by the help of the teachers or by the help of the only parents and grandfather. But this time is a scenario, some changes in the 21st century. Pick the knowledge from the Googles. It means they know about that. The my parents are not aware about it. So some like that age is a very short age, but knowledge is again high. And what happened, because you know that the if anybody have a high knowledge, rather than definitely degradation of the value system rather than any person. So you feel also the in the your scenario, if any persons like that in your scenario have a well versed knowledge, and some behavior egoistic person, such type of behavior shows in front of the any person, any person. What is the reason behind that? The reason behind that only for the social media, because they understood, because it is a human behavior. Because that I have a well knowledgeful persons, and they started the ecosystem, such egoistic behavior with that parents. Because so this is a social media is a some like that degrading the value system in the family.
In the end, sir, I would just like to add one last point that no person is self made. Everyone is made of 1,000 others. So, be it the education system, the parents, or the environment which we are growing, or the social media, everything contributes to a person's behavior and the values.
Even
Okay,
I would like to add something.
go ahead.
Like, I would like to reiterate this point that I also agree with everybody else, but parents and the education system, both of them will never want that their child uh, to get spoiled. Even though we are in this 21st century, even if a parent is working, he or she will definitely make sure that the child is getting the right guidance, and they do. If something like that is happening, that the child is not getting the proper guidance, then that is on them. But they always try to make sure that their child is brought up in the right way. And as the previous speaker rightly mentioned, that it's not about the parents or social media or anything. It's about the person himself. It's upon him if how he is taking the things forward. So yeah.
Okay, we will now conclude. Reasonably okay participation. Why I'm saying okay? Uh, some points I was expecting, but it's okay. Uh, the house was divided equally. We had two for parents and family system, that is Mukesh Saab and Gayatri. Two on social media, Mamta and Lakhen Saab, and two on education system, Gauri Saab and Nikita. That way it was balanced. But see, some fundamental issues were raised. A kid is like a wet cement, or how much impact a family has, or intent of a family, education system's role, and then the third pillar is society, and now it is taken over by social media. See, a person once starts journey in the life, the first institution is family. The institution, why I using this word, one needs to understand whether our family system is intact or not, which initially I think enough light was thrown on that, that how our family system is degrading. Then education system flaws. Yes, there are some flaws and objections. How it is becoming job oriented, little bit fast paced, diluting the value based education, at least in practical. Theoretically, we have enough subjects, but the impact of social media, thanks to COVID period where everyone was compelled to hand over or connect an individual with internet irrespective of age. But let's now analyze where we are going wrong. What can be done? There is no doubt that the moral values system is degrading. All will agree that there is some problem. There was one statistics I think about the literacy rate Lakhan Saab was giving. When literacy rate was down, our value system was much better. When we are getting advanced education and technologies around us, we are becoming less human. So there are various angle to it, but what is in our hand, which is impacting more, that is also a question. Everything is impacting, but where we can control. Family system, as group has brought out that no family intend to harm next generation, but is there any disconnect? Next is education system. It is meant to lift the education level and society's value system per se. because that is what is the primary role of education system is. But is it meeting that objective? That is a serious question. In your discussions, the major flaw was concrete examples were missing. You can give as simple example from your neighborhood that in our neighborhood there is one very educated family, but their kid is spoiled. You can give from celebrities example. You can give because it is in media. If Shah Rukh Khan's son gets into controversy later on, obviously he was not found guilty the way it was projected initially. But even being present in such forum is a problem. So parents are capable of giving everything, but are we drawing line how much empowerment our generation, next generation should get? Best of the schools. Now I'm coming to education system. Best of the schools, parents happily admit their kids to the schools, are ready to pay anything and everything. But then, are the schools taking enough responsibility? There is a big question mark. You can give examples also. How now even killings are happening in schools, teasings are happening in schools and colleges. The bad pictures of society are reflected in our schools and colleges. There is some disconnect between teachers and students. Similarly, applicable at family front also. There is no temperament kids are having to digest little bit insult, little bit scolding. Suicide rate is going up. Even you can quote the example of advanced society, that is US, where the gun violence has become a critical problem, and our society is also likely to face in near future. So this is a common phenomena across the world. Now coming to the third factor, social media, which actually stands for society, that is third. See, family, education system, and third is society. Now social media is actually representing the society. But is there any governance how social media to operate? Is there any ban on some of the sites? Is there any ethical culture on that, age wise, or some restrictions, whatever we need to think actually? Is there any talk and discussions on these issues? Is there any awareness the side effects of more screen time? The screen addiction is a bigger challenge emerging in our society, including the senior and junior members. Screen addiction. There are enough number of cases where the counseling stage is getting crossed and psychiatrist appointments are required now. That a kid is not able to live without a mobile. It is like a big addiction, something like a liquor or alcoholic dependency causes the shivering in someone's body language, and one is not really capable of living without alcohol. Similar thing is happening for this addiction of social media. Too much of living on that social media, the fear of being left out, whether it is Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. So this kind of culture can be stopped. You can give examples from your neighborhood, from your whatever media you know it. Notable examples are there. Some statistics are there. How today suicides are increasing. People are connected to others but disconnected to the neighborhood. Earlier, it was more sharing of love, empathy, and much more cordial relations. Today, we have technology, but we are not comfortable. During journeys, we are not interacting. You take any scenario, whether it is train, air, bus, or any public place, nobody is willing to talk to the next person busy in one's own device. Here comes the last chapter of your discussions, that self is also responsible. Yes, can we really teach ourselves that there is a family system to mold me, there is the education system to upgrade me, there is a society who is going to teach me a lot, but even I am responsible for my upbringing. I have senses, I have wisdom. Let's shape that part. How much to take, how much to really go on social media, is there new normal which is to be brought in our life? New normal in the sense, I'll just elaborate. Can we really have strict rules at home? Okay, no phone time between these hours, only one phone, and preferably landline to be on, rest all deposit. Same goes for office, same goes for school, no phone allowed. At the most, what will happen? You have got some queries, there is one common connection at reception, call there. Same goes for college. Can we have kids going to college without phone? It is not impossible. Just 20 years back, people were without phones. For study purpose, yes, we require this advanced technology. But the ultimate result is today we have a defragmented society. With a lot of efforts, we had built a family system, a good society, a good nation, and a good world order. But today it is being misused, utilized for all the wrong reasons. Everyone is disturbed. Everyone is becoming panicky. Everyone has got lower temperament. At the drop of hat, people are scolding or getting jittery or committing suicides. Things are going little beyond a point, and soon we will have more mentally disturbed people around us. And things are alarming. If we are not waking up now, things will go beyond our reach. So, yes, there is a problem, value degradation. We are becoming less humans. Contributory factors are all. You all were right in your own way. Family system, yes, there is a correction required. Education system, yes, there is a correction required. Social media control and regulations, yes, correction is required. And at the individual level, self level, can we really sense it? Are we gaining more or losing more? Okay, so this finishes our first part. Any comment or any point from your side on the first group discussion?
No, sir.
Okay, but bring more examples. Okay, whenever is personal comment. Okay, by and large is okay. I will.
Now, one point
Yes, Gauri sir.
like that I want to know about that during the we can change the like that I am giving the example about the education system, and after that we have no any idea about that how can education system like that degradation of the value system. Can I go to other it means like that education system and other part social media we can go or not?
Yes, you can go. You can start with some point, and then generally it is not recommended. But if you are feeling, so you wisely say, okay, apart from this, I feel this is also a factor which is really contributing. So smoothly you can add that point. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes.
But generally,
Thank.
before deciding, because there you will get few minutes uh, for discussion. So before jumping into the discussion, make up your mind and stick to it. Nobody is totally correct and nobody is totally wrong. Your methodology of convincing others, logics, points, these are watched. Your confidence is watched. Your way of communication is watched. How much logical you are speaking, that is being observed. So don't worry which standpoint or viewpoint you have taken. That is still a very simple issue. More important is how you speak, how you really impress with your points. Obviously if your viewpoint is good, you have got more material on that, That is a factor. Uh, One or two suggestions, like Gauri Saab, you are high on
Yes.
energy, but reduce your pace so that the language becomes more crystal clear. You also have hold on your communication, and it becomes more methodological and systematic. Okay, Gauri sir, go little slow on your pace. Then Nikita is not there, so we will move to next.
Yes, sir.
Sir, can I just observe the second one? I'm
Okay,
not following the
okay,
Khalistan
Yeah,
movement.
me too, sir. Even
okay,
I am not aware of.
okay. Who
Sir,
is
actually, you just enlighten us about it because we are not aware of the same.
so instead of going for that discussion, we will just hear from whoever is prepared, and then we will comment on that. We'll take 2 minutes break. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
So
Okay,
that
sir.
I think Gauri Saab and Lakhan Saab will speak. We will not disconnect. We will go to next thing so that I segregate this. I'll be ending the recording part of this, and we will come back again after 2 minutes.